Just imagine, a man loses everything because of a false case, but will he be able to escape from jail and prove himself innocent? We'll find out as we hear the story. The story begins with a boy named Kwan, who, until recently, was a national champion in Taekwondo. But these days, he was wasting his entire day sitting in an internet cafe playing video games. He didn't have a job, but his gaming skills were amazing. In one such online game, his character's name was Captain, and he had a team with some other friends. Their group's name was Resurrection, in which Captain would help his teammates without caring for his own life. One day, after playing games at the internet cafe, Kwan noticed a smartphone lying nearby, which was receiving a call. When he answered the phone, a girl's voice came from the other end. She said that she had forgotten her phone at that cafe, and she wanted Kwan to come to her house to return her phone. At first, Kwan was not at all willing to leave his game and come, but when the girl said that she would give him $300 in exchange for this task, Kwan immediately agreed and set off towards her house. When Kwan reached her house, he saw that the door was already open, and the girl was taking a shower in the bathroom. Kwan spoke to her from outside, and the girl told him to leave the phone on the table and to take the money kept there. Kwan did so, but before leaving, he gave some advice to the girl. Don't leave the house door open like this. Anyone could enter. It's not a safe practice. Anyway, the next day when Kwan was sleeping in his room, suddenly, some policemen barged into his house, and they arrested him and took him away. In fact, Kwan was accused of murdering that same girl. Kwan couldn't understand anything because there was blood on his hands, and the murder weapon was also found in his room. And his fingerprints and DNA were found in the girl's house. There was footage of him in the building's security camera, and even his semen was found in the girl's house. In fact, Kwan was accused of raping the girl twice. He was accused of murdering her by stabbing her in the neck and stomach. Within a few hours, the news went viral across the country, because of which the entire public started hating him for committing such a heinous crime. When Kwan's mother got the news, she immediately rushed to the police station, and she wasn't allowed to meet her son. Later, we see her distributing flyers to tell people that her son is innocent and he's being framed in a false case. But the general public was already convinced that Kwan was the murderer, so they ignored Kwan's mother. And many even spoke ill of her. Finally, his mother approached a lawyer named Mr. Min for help. But even he thought that Kwan was the murderer, because all the evidence was against Kwan. A few days later, the case was heard in court, and all the evidence was presented against Kwan. Moreover, due to the pressure from media across the country, the court quickly delivered the verdict that Kwan was the culprit. And then he was sentenced to life imprisonment. He was sent to a high-security prison, where he wasn't even allowed to come out on parole, because the judge said that, due to gaming all day and unemployment, Kwan's mental balance had been disturbed. And that's why he committed this heinous crime. After this, he was taken to that high-security prison in the darkness of night. In that prison, Kwan was trapped like an innocent child among dangerous criminals. One day, a gang leader named Paul noticed Kwan, so his men grabbed Kwan and took him to Paul. Meanwhile, the prison guards were watching all this, and they knew that Kwan was about to be beaten. But Paul gestured them to move away. As soon as Paul started beating Kwan, Kwan also punched Paul in retaliation. This made Paul furious with anger. And then his goons beat Kwan to a pulp. Well, after a while when the guards came to break them up, Paul started saying that Kwan had attacked him, and in return, Kwan was punished with 30 days in solitary confinement. Later, Paul and his goons cornered Kwan again and beat him badly. They also injected a strange substance into his body, after which Kwan went mad and started trying to eat himself. Now he started getting beaten almost every day in jail. Then one day, his mother came to meet him along with their lawyer, Mr. Min. She was very distressed seeing his condition because she knew that in jail, he was being subjected to a lot of abuse. She understood everything by seeing his wounds. She said to him, "Son, hang in there somehow for a few more days. I promise I'll get you out of here." She didn't want to be known as the mother of a rapist, and she didn't want him to live the life of a rapist. Hearing these words from his mother gave Kwan a lot of courage. This time when Kwan went to jail, he was filled with a new determination. But his conflicts with Paul and his gang continued. One day at the dining table, another prisoner gave Kwan some ointment, which he could apply to his wounds. He believed that Kwan couldn't be a murderer. He also thought that Paul knew Kwan was innocent. That's why he keeps beating him repeatedly, because it's easy to attack him. Then Kwan decided that he would fight for himself, so that everyone would understand that it's not so easy to control him. One day when Paul's men came to beat Kwan, he immediately hid, and he made small weapons using a pen and paper. Then he defeated Paul's men one by one. And finally, with one strike, he knocked Paul unconscious too. The next day, Mr. Min came to see him and informed him that his mother had passed away. He gave Kwan his mother's death certificate, so that Kwan could sign it, after which the government would perform his mother's last rites. Kwan wasn't even given permission to attend his mother's funeral. Mr. Min explained that ordinary people had harassed his mother a lot, after which she had become very depressed. Unable to bear so much grief, the poor woman passed away. Hearing this, Kwan seemed to completely break down, but then at night, his mother appeared in his dream and hugged him. The next day, Kwan remembered his mother's words, that he shouldn't live the life of a rapist. He had promised his mother that he would prove his innocence. Then suddenly he attacked Paul, but in the process, he got stabbed in his own stomach. Soon, he was being taken to the hospital in a prison van. But suddenly Kwan stood up and attacked the guards. He placed a sharp object on the chief guard's neck and demanded the keys to his handcuffs. The guard handed him the keys, but suddenly their vehicle had an accident in which everyone was injured. But Kwan somehow managed to escape alive. He unlocked his handcuffs and started running, but from behind, the chief guard aimed his gun at him. But then, for some unknown reason, he lowered his gun. Perhaps he too had realized that Kwan didn't belong in jail, so he let Kwan escape. Now Kwan fled into the forest, evading everyone's sight. Soon he stole some clothes and started running again. In no time, the police of the entire country were engaged in catching Kwan. While running, Kwan noticed a couple whose car had broken down, and they were in a hurry to reach the airport. Then Kwan helped them fix the car, and in return, they gave Kwan a lift. In fact, they didn't know about Kwan, and they were leaving the country anyway, so they even gave their car to Kwan so that he could sell it and earn some money. Finally, Kwan took the car from them and headed towards the city. Kwan had no other place to hide, so he went to Mr. Min's house. He hoped Min would understand his situation. Then Min gave Kwan his mother's last memento, her necklace. Then Min consoled him and said that he would re-examine his case files. But for now, he called the police because he wanted Kwan to turn himself in. But upon hearing this, Kwan fled from there before the police arrived. After that, he reached an internet cafe and started reading all the articles written about him. All of them were against him. But then Kwan's eyes fell on a documentary, which stated that Kwan had been framed in a false case. The writer of this documentary had written how it was impossible for Kwan to rape a girl twice and murder her in just 3 minutes. Moreover, many pieces of evidence in this case had been tampered with. Seeing all this, Kwan heaved a sigh of relief. Then he saw that its writer was a man named Mr. Harry, who used to game with Kwan. After some time, Mr. Harry met Kwan, and then it was revealed that she was actually a girl. Her name was Yul, and she was part of Kwan's resurrection team. Now Yul warned Kwan that the cafe manager was about to inform the police, so he should escape from here. Later, Yul asked him to meet at a restaurant, and then she took him to a secret hideout located outside the city. Here, she lived alone, hidden from the world. In fact, she was passionate about computers and spent the whole day working on them. Then she prepared a very delicious meal for Kwan. It was as if Kwan's soul was delighted after eating it, because he was sick and tired of eating the stale prison food. After a while, the rest of his gaming team members also arrived there, because now they wanted to help Kwan, just as Kwan used to help them in the game. Yul had researched the case and uncovered all the flaws in the evidence, and now she, together with the entire team, wanted to prove Kwan's innocence. Then his team together investigated all the recent high-profile cases. During this time, he saw a particular truck in the camera footage of all the crime scenes. Then Yul looked up the details of the truck and found out that it had been purchased in the name of a scrapyard. Now, when Kwan reached the scrapyard hiding, he saw 2 men, who were carrying a big box in a cart. Then who followed them and reached a building. This was the house of a famous TV actor named No Jun Young. At that very moment, who saw that in that box was No Jun Young's dead body, which that man had picked up from the scrapyard. Then Who sat quietly in a corner and saw that some special agents had come there. They started preparing the evidence for the murder. They were keeping evidence like fingerprints and hair. Only then it is revealed which lawyer Min was the mastermind behind this mission. The real killer of the original Min No Jun was the daughter of a wealthy businessman named Shu. To save his daughter from going to jail, he created a fake identity of Min. The job of blaming someone else is done. We then see that Mr. Min had a secret room in his building, which opened only from his face. First, he found such a girl with the help of a supercomputer having tremendous intelligence, on whom the blame for the crime committed against Shu's daughter can be put. This girl's name was So, who had nothing to do with No Jun, and she was living her life comfortably. She had no idea what was going to happen to her in the future. Meanwhile, Kwon steals a photo from No Jun's house, on which Min's agents had left KC Hour's fingerprints. He then went back and gave the photo to Yul, so he could scan the fingerprints and find out. Which innocent person is Min going to trap this time? Soon, Yul discovers that these are the fingerprints of a girl named So. Actually, Min had sent his team to So's house, so that they can make him unconscious and take samples of his hair, blood, and spit, so that his fake evidence can be used in No Jun's murder case. After this, he called So and invited him to No Jun's house. Meanwhile, Kwon had also dialed So's phone and was listening to everything. This was the same voice that had called Kwon to the crime scene that day. Actually, the truth was that in Kwon's case too, the girl was killed by a rich man.
से बचाने के चक्कर में क्वान के नकली सबूत बनाकर उसे बलि का बकरा बनाया गया। खैर, अब क्वान उस लड़की से मिलने पहुंचा जिसकी आवाज उसने फोन पर सुनी थी। क्वान ने उस लड़की को अगवा करने की कोशिश की, मगर वो ऐन वक्त पर मोटरसाइकिल पर किसी के साथ भाग गई। अब क्वान भी उसका पीछा करने लगा, मगर रास्ते में ही उसकी गाड़ी खराब हो गई और फिर अचानक पॉल और उसके आदमियों ने उसे पकड़ लिया। असल में पॉल भी किसी तरह जेल से छूट गया था और अब वो क्वान को एक सुनसान जगह पर ले जाकर उसे टॉर्चर करने लगा।
Kwon had attacked him in prison, and now Paul had come to take revenge. But at the same time, Yul informs SWAT that Kwon is here. And soon the SWAT team arrived to arrest him. The SWAT team rescues him from Paul's clutches, and Kwon takes advantage of this opportunity to escape from there. Just then, Yul comes to pick him up in the car, and they flee. On the way, Kwon asked how Paul reached him. That's when Yul finds a tracker in Kwon's mother's necklace. He then realized that Min was still watching him, because he was the one who gave this necklace to Kwon, so that he can get Kwon's location at all times. Ultimately, Kwon had to suppress his heart and throw away the last memento of his mother. Later, Kwon's team built some drones and sent them to scan Min's building. He was sure that there would definitely be a high-tech supercomputer there, in which the data of people of the whole country is filled. Luckily, his suspicions were correct when he spotted large computers in the drone scans. On the other hand, Kwon filled all the fake evidence from No Jun's house. Later, when Min came to know about this, he sent his agents to clean the entire house, asked to create the crime scene at some other place. But soon Kwon blows up their van containing fake evidence. After this, we see Shu's daughter, who was hiding in a hospital pretending to be a patient. She wanted to get out of here soon.
और इसके लिए मिन को जल्द से जल्द एक नया क्राइम सीन तैयार करना होगा। अब बिजनेसमैन शू ने मिन को धमकी देकर जल्द से जल्द मिशन पूरा कर।
Min then began creating crime scenes in a new world. This Daran took Shu's daughter to the same crime scene in the name of Kwon Min, and so he was arrested for the crime. Soon this news spread like wildfire across the country. Now Min's mission had completely failed. Then Kwon called him and said that now his secrets would be exposed to the whole world. But then we saw that Min was some kind of psycho, who became happy after hearing this, that someone had the guts to challenge him. Min said that he repeatedly, preparing fake crime scenes, had grown tired. In fact, he easily had become bored doing this work. But now Kwon was creating difficulties in his work. So now this was exciting for him again. Min was just spouting this nonsense when suddenly Kwon called, which made Min very angry. Just then, his eyes fell on his office and the ground beneath his feet slipped away. Because his secretary had been murdered, He realized that this phone call was made to distract him, and Kwan had already entered his house. Now, Min immediately headed towards his secret room. He ran, but then Kwan caught him from behind and started beating him mercilessly. Now both of them, fighting, had reached his high-tech supercomputer, had arrived. When Kwan checked Min's supercomputer, in it, he also found the video to frame Kwan. Along with that, Kwan also found his mother's videos in which she was alone, raising her voice for Kwan's release. She was. Suddenly, Min told him that his mother didn't just die like that. I killed her. Because she was creating problems by repeatedly staging protests. She was causing trouble. People were getting emotional and had started coming in her support. Hearing this, Kwan went mad with anger, and he beat Min severely. After this, he started transferring all the evidence from Min's supercomputer to Yule's thumb drive. Just then, suddenly Paul called Kwan and said that he had kidnapped Kwan's team, and if he doesn't come, he will send them to their death. Then Min said that with the help of the tracker in the necklace, we had found out the location of Yule's hideout, and now Paul had gone there and taken all his companions as hostages. And if Kwan doesn't save them within 30 seconds, Paul will kill them all. Now Kwan didn't have time to wait for the data transfer, so he immediately set out to save his companions' lives. During this time, Min called Kwan and said that in his next mission, he was going to make Yule the scapegoat. That's why he had sent his special agents to obtain Yule's DNA and other evidence. Meanwhile, on the other side, at Yule's hideout, Paul fired a shot at a man, but his aim missed. Just then, suddenly, the electricity went out, and at that moment, Kwan arrived there. Then he, with his incredible fighting skills, beat up Paul's men, breaking their bones. After this, Kwan's team headed towards a TV station. On the way, they shook off Paul's thugs, Min's special agents, and even the police who were chasing them. Just then, they saw that Min had hacked the TV channels and labeled Kwan's team as dangerous criminals. Anyway, as soon as Kwan and his team reached the TV station, the rest of the team got busy distracting the thugs and police who were chasing them. Meanwhile, Yule started his computer system in the command center. Now he was about to expose Min's reality on TV channels across the country. But soon the police arrested all the companions. Except Yule, the police had also surrounded Kwan's car from all sides. So Kwan, raising his hands, quietly came out of the car. People across the country were watching all this on TV, which made Min very happy. But soon, his happiness turned into sorrow when his command center shut down and he realized that Yule's thumb drive was still in his computer. All the data from Min's computer had been transferred and reached Yule. It was done. Now Yule, using the evidence obtained from Min's computer, hacked the TV stations and presented Min's dark deeds and the reality of his clients to the people. He showed how he collected fake evidence and created crime scenes to frame innocent people they used to trap. Then he showed Kwan's case on TV, which made everyone realize how wrong they were about Kwan and the others. They had been so wrong about all these people. Now, after Min's expose, he tried to escape in his car. But Kwan's team had removed the steering wheel. Quickly, Min was arrested. But everyone knew that behind this, there must be the hand of some big mafia boss. It is, who is still hidden from the common people. Anyway, Kwan and his team were humiliated and dismissed. Meanwhile, Min met Paul in jail, and Paul was very angry with him, which makes one thing clear, that his time in jail is not going to be easy. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.